A very good afternoon to all my dear students. I hope you have revised till Unit 3 of Sale of Goods Act. Today we'll be starting the last unit, that is Unit 4 of Sale of Goods Act. And second class you'll be having on Sunday, in which we will be completing the Sale of Goods Act totally. All right, good afternoon, Priya, Shivansh, Tanisha, good afternoon, everyone. Padula Parthi has written, I was unable to attend the class. Yes, even if you have not attended the previous class, then also you can attend today, Padula Parthi, because we're going to start with the new chapter, that is unpaid self. And even if you have any doubts in the previous class, you can ask children. Mr. Ravi Kumar, Chaitanya, all of you, welcome to the class, students. Miss Rachna, Ruchi, Riddhi, all of you, Sandeep Thakur, a very good afternoon, students. So as we always begin our class with a positive note, so I want to tell you that keep revising regularly. During these last days when the exams are just approaching, we do have these kind of glitches in mind. We do tend to get these kind of feelings. Yaad nahi rahega, bhul jata hai, we have a problem, we are not able to remember the content. So again, the thumb rule is that the moment you keep studying, you keep revising everything, gradually things do come back in your mind. All right. And then we have different kind of webinars also ICAI is organizing for all of you, in which we do the revisionary classes. So if institute is making so much effort, then it is your responsibility also, my dear students, to do well and try to cover each and everything, all the topics very nicely and smart. So I hope you have done all the descriptive questions of the previous chapter. Today, if the time permits, during the end of the class, I would like to discuss some of the questions from the module also with you, so that you don't face any problem in writing the answers to those questions also. All right. Rini Chauhan, Shri Krishna. Good afternoon, everyone, children. Welcome to the class. Now let's start the class, Unit 4 of Unpaid Seller. So I hope you don't have any doubts in the previous chapter. If you want to ask, you can ask. Dhara is asking, ma'am, if I don't know the section, do we need to write the section? So I keep telling you, once again, I'm repeating, it is not compulsory in CA Foundation to learn the sections or to write the sections. If you don't remember, Dhara, don't write a wrong section. Never write a wrong section. If you remember, you can write a correct section. All right. But yes, if you write a wrong section, then it gives a very, very bad impression. Good afternoon, Sarla, Tanya, everybody. And now let's proceed ahead. I cannot see any doubts. So let's start the new chapter. Akshat Jain, ma'am, I did not understand the meaning of estoppel. So Akshat Jain, estoppel in the previous chapter said that where I am selling the goods, I am the seller, but one of my friend who is standing in my shop, say for example, he is Mr. A. It's always better to name people and then do it. Mr. A in front of me, so I am Harleen, ma'am, I am the seller. In front of the seller, Mr. A says to Mr. B, the buyer, that I am the owner of these goods. And now if H remains silent, do not say anything, then it will be presumed as if A is and the sale is being made. Then A, even if he is a non-owner, then also no one can deny his authority to sell, because here H, by remaining silent, has accepted the fact that yes, he is the owner. Therefore, Mr. A will be considered as the owner of these goods. This will be a valid sale. All right. Okay. Understood. That's great. Pari says, ma'am, I request you each concept Hindi mein bhi bata dena. Okay, Pari, I will explain you in Hindi also, but we cannot take the entire lecture in Hindi because there are many students from South, they don't understand Hindi. So मैं आपको कोशिश करूंगी सारा साथ के साथ जो आपको प्रॉब्लम आ रही है आप पूछ सकते हो, हिंदी में भी समझा. ओके बेटा. So this session is divided into 5 different topics. Number 1 is, who is an unpaid seller? I told you one thing in the previous class, that we have performed the contract, and after the performance of the contract, the cases which are considered to be the breach of contract are taken up in the chapter of unpaid seller. Unpaid seller's definition is important. What are the rights against the goods and rights against the buyer? If you become unpaid, then what are your rights? Means what all you can do if you become an unpaid seller. Then the unpaid seller has certain rights which he can use against his goods, and there are certain rights which he can use against the buyer. And if the seller breaches the contract, means if the seller is not willing to give him the goods, payment has been received, then how seller can take an action against the buyer? How buyer can take an action against the seller? That is covered under remedies of buyer against the seller. And the last 5th topic in this chapter, we have auction sales. Now, many a time auction sales, if you find the previous question papers, it has not come for so many years. There was a 2 marks question or a simple question. But if you'll see 2024 paper, 25 January paper also, many times the question has started coming from auction sales also. So we will understand this concept on the next class, and I would request you all to learn auction sales, all the points, because it's a very important concept and examiner do ask questions from. Question can come from anywhere, but it always comes from within the study material. Study material से बाहर कुछ नहीं आता. So study material is the Bible for us. We have to cover each and every topic of the study material. So who is an unpaid seller? पहले तो हम ये बात करेंगे unpaid का मतलब क्या है. Unpaid का simple meaning क्या है? What is the meaning of unpaid? Somebody whose payment has not been made. जिसकी हमने payment नहीं दी है. So if I am the seller who sells the goods for rupees 100 and you have just paid me rupees 90. I sell you the goods for rupees 100 and you have paid me 90 rupees. Children, do you think some balance is pending? Yes, ma'am, 10 rupees is pending. Even if rupee 1 is pending, I become unpaid seller. A seller whose whole of the price has not been paid. What is the meaning of whole of the price? Means जिसके आपने पूरी की पूरी payment जिसकी आपने नहीं करी है, then he becomes the unpaid seller. If my whole of the price is not made, I have a right to take action for the prize money. Or it is a case where a bill of exchange or a check has been used. Now you have done negotiable instruments. You know the meaning of check, or maybe you will be doing after partnership, you will be doing negotiable instruments. So you'll understand what is a bill, what is a bill of exchange, what is a check. So if these kind of documents which have been used for making a payment, and if this check gets dishonored, now what is the meaning of dishonor? पहले इनके ना simple meaning समझते हैं. Let's understand what is the meaning of these words. So if A has given a payment through a check to Mr. B, so जब हम किसी को check देते हैं तो B क्या करेगा? बैंक में जाएगा और वो check लगवाएगा. ऐसे ही होता है. हमने bills of exchange पढ़ा हुआ है. You have a knowledge at level 12th also. You have started about it. So if B goes to A's bank and he places this check that please debit the amount from A's account and credit it in my account. But when the bank checks A's account, there is nil balance. 10,000 rupees ka check tha, and there is nil balance. So the check gets bounced. Means the check gets dishonored. B will not get the payment. So if anyone has used a check or a bill of exchange as a source of making the payment, एक तो आपने कैश में नहीं करा पूरा, एक तो वो रीजन. एक अगर आपने bill of exchange या check से payment करी है and that check gets dishonored, then also the seller becomes unpaid seller and he can recover the money. Is that clear? Then also he becomes the unpaid seller. So there are two ways of becoming unpaid seller. Either my whole of the price has not been paid, or the bill of exchange or check has been used for the payment. It has been dishonored. Okay. So A sold goods to B for 50,000 and B pays 40,000 and fails to pay the balance amount. Means 10,000 is still pending, children. Can we say that here A becomes unpaid seller? Yes or no? Yes, Tanya, absolutely. Without payment, somebody whose payment has not been made is known as unpaid seller. Okay, Sarla Devi. Yes, he becomes unpaid seller. That's correct. Ravi Kumar, everybody, it's correct. Padula Parthi, that we will cover in the negotiable instrument chapter. We will explain you in detail over there how these instruments are, transferable. So, P sold the goods to R for 60,000 and received the check. So, अब यहाँ पे बेटा payment कैसे हुई है? Check के through ही है. And on presenting the check got dishonored. So, can we say in the second part also, P has become unpaid seller? Yes or no? Why? Because the check has been dishonored. That means he has not been given the payment. Very good. Excellent. So everybody has understood the meaning of unpaid seller. Many a times you get this question for 2 marks. Who is an unpaid seller? In that case, you have to write all these 2 different points. How does he become the unpaid seller? Now, child, once you have become the unpaid seller, then you have certain rights, which are the rights against the goods, and certain rights which you can use against the buyer. So first we are going to understand what are these rights. How many rights does this? Right का मतलब क्या होता है? हक. अब मेरे पास क्या हक है? आपने मेरी पेमेंट नहीं करी. You have not made my payment. So what action I can take against you? Number 1, where the property in the goods has passed. Number 2, where the property in the goods has not passed. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of property has passed? Can we say it is the case of complete sale because ownership has been passed from the seller to the buyer? Yes or no? Yes, huh? This is the case of property has been passed means ownership. Excellent, Tanisha, Sandeep, everybody who is answering. Padula Parthi. Very nice. Riddhi. But don't expect me to take all your names because now I have to go into each and every chat. Okay. So property has been passed. My question was, what do you call the second case where the property has not been passed? What do we name this thing? What kind of sale it is? Yes, Preeti. What is the sale? Rachna. Agreement to sell. Excellent. This is the case of agreement to sell. तो वो कहते हैं कौन से राइट्स हैं? परी, हिंदी में बता रही हूँ आपके लिए. अगर आपकी ओनरशिप पास हो गई है, मतलब जब सेल हुई है, तो आपके पास क्या राइट्स हैं? अगर एग्रीमेंट टू सेल है तो आपके पास क्या राइट्स है? दोनों चीजों की बात. सो दीज आर द राइट्स अगेंस्ट द गुड्स. Against the buyer, what are his rights? That is a separate story. But first, so 2 type of rights he has. One is the rights against the goods. Another is the rights against the buyer. So for the rights against the goods, if the property has been passed means जब sale हुई है, property नहीं pass हुई means agreement to sell हुई. जब agreement to sell हुई है तब क्या क्या rights हैं उसकी, and जब sale हुई है तब क्या क्या rights. 3 राइट्स आप देखोगे कॉमन है दोनों केसेस में. राइट टू लियन, स्टॉपेज एंड ट्रांजिट, रीसेल. So whole chapter revolve around these 3 rights: right to lien, right to stoppage in transit, right to resale. Say it in front in your mind. While sitting over there in front of screen, say this word in your mind, right to lien, right to stoppage in transit, right to resale. And when there is an agreement to sell, there is an additional right, that is right to withhold delivery. पहले ये समझ लेते हैं withholding delivery, because ये एक छोटा सा ही right है. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? right to withhold delivery. इंग्लिश में withhold delivery का मतलब क्या है? withhold कर देना means you are not allowing you are not giving the permission to others to take the goods from you. You have withhold the delivery. What is the meaning of this? When the property in goods has not been passed, let's take an example. I was supposed to sell you this water bottle. This is an agreement to sell. You are the buyer, and now you have told me that you will not pay me the price for this. It was the case of agreement to sell. After 10 days, I will sell you this water bottle. You said you will not make me the payment. Will I give you the water bottle? I will withhold the delivery. डिलीवरी को रोक देना, मतलब अब ये जो 10 days बाद जा रही थी डिलीवर होने, हमने इसको स्टॉप कर दिया. मींस राइट टू विथहोल्ड डिलीवरी. सिंपल, इजी है. मींस अब मैं आपको गुड्स नहीं दूंगी ना. एग्रीमेंट टू सेल थी, मुझे पता लग गया आप मेरी पेमेंट नहीं कर रहे हो, तो मैं आपको गुड्स दूंगी. सो ये होता है राइट टू विथहोल्ड डिलीवरी. बाकी तीनों राइट्स वन बाय वन वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ लियन, स्टॉपेज इन ट्रांजिट एंड रीसेल. Okay. Okay, Shri Krishna, that's great. Even if direct questions are left, we will revise the questions from the module also. So you can ask me if you have any doubts. Okay. So now let's understand what is this right to lien. This is the rights against the buyer. This will come later on. First, let's start with the seller's lien. Lien का मतलब क्या होता है? अब लियन का मतलब समझने के लिए let's see this box, the drawer that I have kept over here, and here are the keys lying on the top of the box. Now what happened, children? I was supposed to sell you this water bottle. I came to know that now you are not going to pay me the price. The goods are already in my possession. देखो, लियन एक्सरसाइज करने के लिए goods मेरे पास होने चाहिए. उनकी possession मेरे पास है. अगर मेरे पास goods ही नहीं है, then I cannot use the rights against the goods. So first is I use the rights against the goods if I have the goods. If I don't have the goods, then I use the rights against the buyer. If I don't have the goods, I use the rights against the buyer. Means how I can sue the buyer and I can recover my money. So if I have the goods, I will keep the goods in my custody. I will not give it to the buyer. But if I don't have the goods, then I use my rights against the buyer. So in the first case, where the sale, now I'm doing the common rights. When the property has not passed, we have done the fourth right, withholding delivery. Now we are doing the common rights. That is first right, the right to lien. Right to lien means goods अपने कब्जे में ले लेना. Means now I have come to know that you are not going to make my payment. So this is my drawer. I will pick up the goods and I will hide them in the drawer and I will keep the keys with me. Means अब मैंने goods को अपने कब्जे में ले लिया, छुपा लिया है. अब मैं आपको वो goods नहीं दूंगी, क्योंकि मुझे पता लग गया कि आप मेरी पेमेंट नहीं कर रहे. या तो मेरा बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज डिसऑनर हो गया, या फिर आपने मेरी पेमेंट कैश में नहीं. In either of the cases, if I become unpaid seller, I will not give you the goods. Omkar, I told you that you are supposed to raise your hands only at the end of the class, not in between. Okay? Yes, very good, Shri Krishna. Taking the goods in your custody. Very nice. Aditya, absolutely good. You will stop the delivery. You will not give the goods to the buyer if you have become unpaid. Okay? Tanisha, we will understand what is the difference with stoppage in transit. We have just started with lien. So first you will have to understand what is lien. All right. So everybody understood. So lien means taking the goods in your custody. I have shown you with the help of an example of a diagram also that this is the drawer. These are the keys. I have put the goods. I have hidden the goods in the drawer. Now I'm not going to give these goods to the buyer, because this buyer is not giving my payment, so I will not give the goods. So seller's lien can be exercised means he has the right to retain the possession until the payment is made. राइट का मतलब क्या होता है? हक होना, मतलब मेरे पास क्या राइट है इस केस में. रिटेन करना मीन्स अपने कब्जे में ले लेना, अपनी कस्टडी में ले लेना, गुड्स को अपने पास रख लेना, रिटेन कर लेना पोजीशन उनकी, जब तक आपकी पेमेंट नहीं होती. Now, right to lien can be used when the goods are sold on cash sales or even in case of credit sales. Cash sales means 10,000 का सेल करा, 8,000 दिया आपने, I will exercise the lien on my goods. The goods were sold on credit. I said that buy the goods for 10,000 and make me the payment of 10,000 after 1 month. Now 1 month have passed. I will take the goods in my custody because you have not paid my payment. Or the buyer becomes insolvent. What is the meaning of insolvent? What do you understand by the word insolvent? You have to tell me. We have done this in chapter number 1. When your assets are not sufficient to pay for your liabilities, means you don't have money to pay for your liabilities in the ordinary course of business, then it is considered to be a person has been declared as insolvent. So now where the buyer has become insolvent, that means he doesn't have enough money to pay for my goods now. So I will take the goods in my custody. So either in case of cash sales, when my payment is not paid, if it is a credit sale and my payment has not been paid after the credit period also, or the buyer has become insolvent, इनमें से कोई भी अगर condition होती है, the seller will take the goods in his custody. He will not give the goods to the buyer. Padula Bharti is asking if he has already given the goods. So child, if you have already given the goods to the buyer, then you cannot stop the delivery. Lien can be exercised. The first condition for lien, everybody will write in their notebook. Lien can be exercised only if the goods are with the seller. अगर goods seller के पास है तभी वो लियन एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं, अदरवाइज वो लियन एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर सकते. Ravi, Tanisha and Sandeep, good answers for insolvency. That's great. Yes, Preeti, that's great. So please write it down. Lien can be exercised only if the goods are sold. If the goods are with the seller. He has sold the goods, but still the goods are lying with him. Children, stop raising your hands. What happens in case of part delivery of the goods? Now you remember part delivery we did last time in the last chapter? What is the meaning of part delivery? I have packed 100 bags of rice for Mr. B, the buyer. One bag was for 50 bags of rice and another is 50 bags of rice. Buyer comes and takes the 50 bags of rice home. The remaining 50 bags are still at seller's shop. Seller is having this in his shop. So we did one point, part delivery means delivery of the whole. Once the goods, half of them have been delivered, it will be assumed whole of the goods have been delivered. But after this part delivery, we came to know that Mr. P will not be able to make the payment. He has either become insolvent or he has refused to make the payment. Then, what does the common sense says? It says once the part delivery has been done, seller can exercise his right on the remaining goods if part delivery has already made, unless the part delivery was for the waiver of loan. Means now I have the goods, I will not give it to you. तुमने मुझे बोल दिया तुम मेरी payment नहीं कर रहे हो. How will I give you the other 50 bags? Will you give the 50 bags to the buyer? Yes or no? Tell me. Half of the goods are delivered. Yes, very good, Preeti. Now will you give the other goods to him? Once you have come to know, you will not give to the other goods. Is that clear to everyone? So that means if the part delivery, even if the part delivery has been made, he can still, yes, not to deliver the balance quantity. Very good. So you will not give the balance quantity if you have come to know that the buyer is not able to make the payment. Yes, Aditya, that's what we are doing. Once they are not delivered, then only you can take them into your retention. If you have delivered them, then you cannot take it in your custody. Then we have a separate. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of this line? Unless part delivery means waiver of lien. Waiver हमने पढ़ा था section 13 में, where I told you sometimes the breach of condition is treated as breach of warranty, where you have waived your right means you have given up your right. अगर मैं बायर हूं और मैंने बोल दिया था कि जब मैं पार्ट डिलीवरी ले जाऊंगी, तो दैट मीन्स अगर सेलर ने पहले ही बोल दिया कि आई गिव अप माई लियन ऑन द रिमेनिंग गुड्स, आई विल नॉट एक्सरसाइज माई लियन, देन ही कैन नॉट एक्सरसाइज. But otherwise, if nothing such was decided and seller has come to know that buyer is not making his payment, he will exercise his right to liens on the remaining goods, that is part delivery. Remaining goods, still he can exercise his right to lien. कब exercise करेगा? Only if he comes to know that buyer is not making the payment. Okay? So, number one point, lien क्या होता है? Retain करना goods till the payment is made. 3 cases, cash sales, credit sales, insolvency में आप लियन एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हो. 4th, पार्ट डिलीवरी अगर हो गई है तो रिमेनिंग गुड्स के ऊपर लियन एक्सरसाइज कर लेना, unless it means the waiver of. And 5th is, when does the lien comes to an end? What do you think? When does it comes to an end? When does the lien comes to an end? Once you have parted with the goods, आपने जब goods buyer को दे दिए, आपने जब गुड्स बायर को या करियर को दे दिए, दैट मींस नाउ यू कैन नॉट एक्सरसाइज. टर्मिनेशन ऑफ लियन का मतलब देखो, एंड ऑफ लियन ऑन द गुड्स. लियन को एंड कब करा जाता है? इफ यू हैव गिवन द गुड्स टू अ कैरियर. कैरियर कौन होता है? चाहे ट्रांसपोर्टर जो गुड्स आपके लेकर जा रहा है बायर के पास, या फिर किसी बेली को आपने दे दिए. और buyer has come and taken the goods already from you. Buyer came to your shop, he picked up the goods, paid you the payment. Then lien cannot be exercised. By waiver means he himself has waived his lien. That means he has told you that I will not be exercising lien. Or by estoppel, by conduct or his behavior. उसने ऐसा behavior करा जिसमें उसने बता दिया that okay, now you can take the goods back home. I don't have any problem. I will not exercise the lien of the goods. By his own behavior, he has accepted that yes, you can. Say for example, the buyer says that can I sell the goods further to Mr. C? So here it is by estoppel. The seller is not saying anything else. So by his behavior only he has exercised, he has ended the lien of the goods. So what are the 4 cases? When does the lien comes to an end? Once the goods are delivered to the transporter or the bailey, buyer has taken the goods from him, by waiver or by estoppel. Now this is a very, very interesting and important note. Unpaid seller will not lose his right if he has obtained a decree for the price. So it says, even if you have obtained a decree for the price, what is the meaning of having a decree for the price? आपका कोई प्रॉब्लम चल रहा था, कोर्ट केस चल रहा था गुड्स की प्राइस को लेकर. मतलब झगड़ा किसको लेकर था? प्राइस को लेकर. ए बोल रहा था 100 रुपीज दो, बी कह रहा था नहीं मैं तो 80 दूंगा. तो कोर्ट ने डिसाइड करा, डिक्री पास करी, कोर्ट को ऑर्डर पास करा कि चलो आप 85 रुपीज पे कर देते. नाउ if this 85 rupees is not paid, still the unpaid seller can use his right of lien. That right of lien will not come to an end just because you have obtained this court's order. Decree means court's order. Even if the buyer has taken a court's order or the seller has taken the order from the court for the prize money, still he can exercise his right to lien. Clear? So let's read these examples. A sold the goods to B for 50,000 and gave him 1 month credit period. But within that 1 month, he becomes insolvent. What is the answer for the first one? Can the lien be exercised? If yes, why? Read it carefully. Everybody says, yes, ma'am, lien can be exercised. Why? Because the goods are with him. 1 month, this is a credit sales, and also he has become insolvent. He does not have money. He's showing you this empty wallet. So now here, A will exercise the right to lien provided the goods are with A. But what in the second picture? A sold the good to B and delivered the railway receipt to B. अब उसने ट्रांसपोर्टर को, रेलवे अथॉरिटीज को ये गाड़ी दे दी है, ये गाड़ी बेच रहे थे हम, एंड ये गाड़ी की डिलीवरी कैसे हो रही है? दिल्ली से पुणे जानी है, रेलवे अथॉरिटीज को हमने ये गाड़ी दे दी है. Can in this example A exercise the right to lien on this car? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Everybody will answer. No, ma'am. Why? Because the seller has already parted with the goods. Means he has already given the goods to the carrier for transportation. So this comes in the first case of termination of lien. The lien will come to an end as soon as he has parted with the goods. ठीक है बेटा? Now comes your second right. But before going to the second right, let us see the right of lien from the module also once. Anji. So this is the rights of the seller, unpaid seller's definition. You have to do all those who are asking, ma'am, book में से क्या-क्या पढ़ना है? यही brief notes अभी मैंने आपके साथ class में करे हैं discuss. Whole of the price is not paid, bill of exchange is not paid, then he becomes unpaid seller. Seller means a person who is in the possession of the seller. Agent to whom the bill of lading has been endorsed, consigner, directly responsible, ये सारों को हम seller की definition में ले लेंगे. Okay? X sold the goods for 50,000. Y fails to repay the balance. Lien can be exercised. She is unpaid seller. And 60,000 check again dishonored. He becomes unpaid seller. So he can exercise the lien only if he's in the possession of the goods, in case of insolvency, and right to resale as limited by his act. When the property has not been passed, तब वो withholding delivery भी कर सकता है. Simple सी बात बताई. So here is the meaning of lien, means the goods can be taken into his possession until the price is made. All these three cases, A sold the goods of 50,000 and allowed him a credit period. He becomes insolvent. Seller can exercise his right to lien. However, even where he is in the possession of the goods as an agent or bailee, then also he can exercise his right to lien. Insolvency, you all know, part delivery we have done, termination of lien, and the exception is, I want to read this point, unpaid seller having a lien will not lose his right, which means if the seller has taken a price for the goods under a court case, he can still exercise his right to lien on it. Means आप फिर भी अपना lien exercise कर सकते हो अगर आपने कोर्ट से प्राइस लिया. Is that clear? Now let's understand the next right, that is section 50 to 52, which we are going to complete. Any doubts still here? राइट ऑफ स्टॉपेज इन ट्रांजिट. स्टॉपेज इन ट्रांजिट का मीनिंग क्या है? आपने यहाँ पे रेलवे अथॉरिटीज को गाड़ी दे दी, रेलवे अथॉरिटीज अब गाड़ी आगे पुणे लेकर जा रही है, बट आपको पता लगा रास्ते में कि बायर कॉल्ड यू एंड सेड, अलीन मैम, आई विल नॉट मेक यू द पेमेंट, आई एम द सेलर, आई हैव लोडेड दीज गुड्स इन द ट्रक or railway authorities or maybe the railways are already going. Now I have come to know that I have become unpaid seller. What can you do? You will call the truck in charge or the railway authorities and you will tell them, look, don't give the goods to the buyer now. I am exercising my right to stop them while they are in transit. So right to stoppage in transit means stopping the goods while they are in transit. ट्रांजिट में होने चाहिए. अगर गुड्स बायर के पास चले गए फिर आप राइट टू स्टॉपेज इन ट्रांजिट नहीं कर सकते. जब तक द गुड्स आर ऑन द वे you can exercise the right to stoppage in transit. Here we are trying to regain the position. There we were trying to retain the position. Regain means एक बार मैंने आपको दे दिया, मेरी पोजीशन से चला गया, अब मैंने रुकवाया ट्रक को एंड वापस अपनी पोजीशन में ले लिया, रीगेन कर लिया एंड उसे रिटेन करा जब तक मेरा प्राइस नहीं पे हो जाता. So what are the conditions for stoppage in transit? Seller must be unpaid. He has parted with the goods. Very important. Then now the goods are not with him. He has become unpaid and the goods are already in transit and the buyer has become insolvent. What do you mean by buyer has become insolvent? Then only you can exercise the right to stoppage in transit. So this is a mandatory condition. ऐसे नहीं कि आपको मन करा कि आपको लगा नहीं 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 अब मुझे गुड्स किसी और को देने हैं और मैंने गुड्स रुकवा के वापस ले लिया, ऐसा आप नहीं कर सकते हो. आप अगर अनपेड हो, बायर इंसॉल्वेंट है, यू हैव पार्टेड विद द गुड्स एंड द गुड्स आर ऑन द वे दैट दे आर इन द ट्रांजिट, then only the right to stoppage in transit can be exercised. And how are you going to exercise this right? First, you will go and stop the train and take the goods in your possession. Or you will give the notice to the railway authorities that please keep the goods with yourself as a carrier or pay. And all these expenditure of redelivery, who will bear this? This will be borne by the seller. Let's try to understand with the help of an example. I am sitting over here in Delhi and I am sending my goods to Pune. I have loaded this car in the truck, in a very big truck, lorry, which is going. It is taking the goods. It is on the way. Now I have come to know that Miss Swati, who is sitting in Pune, who is my buyer, was supposed to make me the payment and now she will not make me the payment. So I am the seller who has become unpaid. Have I parted with the goods? Yes, ma'am, you have parted with the goods. Has the buyer become insolvent? Are the goods in transit? If all these conditions are satisfied, I will call the truck person and I will tell them, look, please get the goods back to me. Because now I have come to know that I have become unpaid seller. The other person is not going to make me the payment. Then I can take the goods back in my possession. That is regaining the possession of the goods. But provided this regaining can be done only when the goods are in transit. So stoppage in transit tells you the same rights. The seller must be unpaid. The goods have already been in transit. They have parted with the goods and the buyer has become insolvent. A of Mumbai, example number 5, A of Mumbai sold the goods to B of Delhi. He has delivered the goods to the carrier. Before the goods could reach him, B became insolvent and A came to know about it. Can A stop the goods by giving it a notice to C? Tell me, what do you think it has happened over here? So A is selling certain goods. He has delivered the goods to the courier. Now, before the goods could reach means the goods are still in transit. We have come to know B has become insolvent. Therefore, A will ask him to stop the transit and give the by giving a notice of it to C means just give a notice to the common courier that you need to stop the transit and you will have to get the goods back to me. Now, this exercise can be done only if the goods are in transit. अगर goods रास्ते में, अगर रास्ते में नहीं है, एक बार ही buyer के पास चले गए, तो फिर बच्चा ना आप लियन एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हो, ना ही आप stoppage in transit exercise कर सकते. So it is very important to understand when the goods are in transit, when they are given to the carrier, until the buyer has taken the delivery. Means जिस दिन आपने goods truck में डाल के भेजे और जब तक buyer उसे अपने पास ले नहीं लेता है, he has not taken the delivery of the goods are said to be in the transit. Okay. Now, how does this transit comes to an end? I will do it with you. But before that, there are 5 points of differences between right to lien and stoppage in transit. I want each one of you to read these 5 points. Okay, Sandeep Thakur. So I give you 2 minutes. Read the points of differences because I'm going to ask you questions out of this. Very nice. Everybody has read these points. So very simple to understand. Yes, Akshit wants to ask something. Yes, Akshit.
Ma'am, just one thing only. Ma'am, how to join the doubt clearing class for business law at 5:15?
You have any doubts right now, you can ask me in the class itself. Otherwise,
Ma'am,
uh,
just they are informing something doubt clearing class for business law at 5:15. So when we have
okay,
that,
I will ask from the admin. And Ajit sir, are you there? Okay, I'll just get it checked with them and I will let you know about that. Okay, Akshit?
and okay, ma'am.
Yes, Devyani.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I have a doubt that how will seller going to know that the buyer has become insolvent?
All right. That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is a condition for exercising this right to lien and stoppage in transit that the buyer should have become insolvent. Now, when you will study about insolvency in partnership also, we will discuss about how the partner becomes insolvent. So the court declares the person as insolvent. Insolvent का हिंदी में मतलब होता है किसी का दिवालिया निकल जाना. Means now it is announced that you are an insolvent person. And the moment seller comes to know, he will not give you the goods. But Devyani, it's very important that the seller should be having the goods with him. Then only he can exercise, either he can exercise the right to lien, and if the goods are still traveling in the railways or in the truck, he will call the driver and ask him to get back the goods to him. That is regaining the possession.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Yes, Miss Vishani.
मैम डिफरेंसेस में थर्ड पॉइंट मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया.
Okay, I will explain you. Anything else?
नो मैम.
Okay. So let's do all the points one by one. In case of right to lien, the goods are taken and retained in his possession, and right to stoppage in transit is regained. ये सबको पता लग गया. Goods मेरे पास ही है, मैंने retain कर लिए. Goods रास्ते में है, तो मैंने रुकवा कर वापस लिए, तो regain कर. All my English friends, I am retaining means I'm putting them in my custody. Regaining means I've asked them to stop and bring back to me. And all these expenditures of regaining have to be borne by the seller himself. He's having in the possession, he should have, in first case, right to lien, I should be in possession with the goods. Here, I should have parted with it and now I am taking it back. Lien can be exercised only when the buyer is not insolvent. Even when the buyer is not insolvent. However, stoppage in transit to be exercised only when the buyer becomes insolvent. Now, insolvency is mandatory condition, Vishali, in case of stoppage in transit. आपको जब मैंने stoppage in transit conditions पढ़ाई है तो वो 4 conditions क्या है? You have parted with the goods are in transit, and the buyer should have become insolvent. राइट टू लियन के केस में मैंने क्या बोला था आपको? राइट टू लियन में कैश सेल्स, क्रेडिट सेल्स एंड इंसॉल्वेंसी कैन बी. सो वहां पे मैंडेटरी नहीं है. इस केस में इट इज मैंडेटरी.
ओके मैम.
Anybody else having any doubts still here? Okay, Preeti says no ma'am, no doubts. Sri Krishna also says the same. All right, let's move ahead then. Let's complete the points of differences. So stoppage in transit begins where the lien ends. Very simple. Lien is the starting point. Stoppage in transit is the where the lien ends. It is the starting point of stoppage. Lien comes to end as soon as the goods go out of the possession. Now, if the goods are in the truck, can I exercise the right to lien? Tell me. If the goods are already loaded in the truck, can I exercise? No, ma'am. Why? Because I already don't have the possession of the goods. Sometimes it is said that stoppage in transit is nothing but an extension of right to lien. Means वैसे मेरे पास थे तो मैंने lien exercise करा. अगर goods रास्ते में है तो मैंने उनको stoppage in transit is extension of rights. As per Lear, no. Okay. Now let's complete one small thing, that is duration of transit. What is the meaning of when the goods are said to be duration of transit? How the transit is affected? When does the transit comes to an end? So it says if these are the mandatory conditions in order to exercise the stoppage in transit, seller must have become unpaid. He should have parted with the goods. The goods are in the transit. Buyer has become insolvent, and provisions of this act, that is section. So A of Mumbai sold certain goods to B of Delhi. He has given the goods to a transporter for transmitting in B. Before the goods could be reached, B became insolvent and A came to know about it. उसको पता लग गया. बेटा अगर पता ही नहीं चलेगा फिर थोड़ी ना वो right exercise करेगा. This is assumed that you have come to know. Seller को मालूम है कि वो आपको payment नहीं करेगा, तभी तो वो unpaid seller होगा ना. So how will A exercise his right to stoppage in transit? Who is taking the goods? Who is the transporter over here? A is the seller. B is the buyer. C is the transporter. Who is having the goods right now? C. So A will give a notice to C, means he will call up C and tell him that please don't give the goods to B, bring back the goods to me. All these costs of bringing back the goods from C to A will be borne by A or will be borne by B? Tell me. Who will bear the cost of this regaining of possession? Will be borne by A, the seller, or B, the buyer? Give me the answer in the chat box. Very good. A, the seller, will bear the expenditures of regaining of the possession of goods. Everyone has given the correct answer. So duration in transit means when the goods are said to be. अब मैं exercise कब कर सकती हूँ ये right? जब goods transit में है, रास्ते में है. So the goods are in the transit from the time they are given to the carrier for transmitting to the buyer until the buyer or his agent takes the delivery of such goods. Means जब तक वो इसके goods को आकर इसकी delivery नहीं ले लेता, तो वैसा मान लिया जाएगा कि goods are still in transit. Unless and until the buyer, somebody does not come and take the delivery of these goods, the goods are said to be in transit. When does the transit comes to an end? Now here it is very, very important. How does the delivery of goods happen? You are ordering online stuff. The Amazon guy comes and say, "Tring tong," and give you the goods. That means now the delivery boy has come and he has given the goods to the buyer. Buyer has lawfully obtained the delivery. Means अब buyer की कब्जे में goods आ गए हैं, उसने goods ले लिए हैं. Transit has come to an end. Transit का मतलब होता है वो रास्ता जब तक हम goods को रोक सकते थे. अब वो journey कब बंद हो जाती है? कब the transit come to an end? Number one, when the buyer or his bailee has already taken the delivery of the goods. Buyer has taken the delivery before the arrival of goods at destination. It is called interception by the buyer, which can be with or without the consent of the carrier. Now, sometimes the goods are traveling from Delhi to Pune, and this buyer was in such a hurry, he went in between on the way and he said, "Give the goods to me." Now, once the buyer has taken the delivery of the goods, even though they have not arrived in Pune, listen very carefully. Goods were going from Delhi to Pune. In between, the buyer came and take the goods from the transport. Can the seller A exercise his right to stoppage in transit? Yes or no? No, he cannot. Why? Why does no? Preeti, Sarla, Aditya, everybody said give the correct answer. No. Why? Because the goods now are no longer in transit. Tanya is asking if in the stoppage in transit, the buyer forbade to pay the amount but not become insolvent. So insolvency is a mandatory condition for exercising stoppage in transit. Tanya. And if you are not exercising that, then you can still exercise the right to lien if the goods are already with you. All right. All right. So we have completed right to lien. I know this chapter is a little heavy because you are understanding these words for the very first time, but I'll try and make sure to simplify each and every word for you, and we'll go very slow so that you don't miss out any chance. Now let's take a small break here. Read from the study material whatever we have read and discussed about lien, and जितना हमने stoppage in transit का पढ़ा है and its points of differences. After the break, we will continue and understand how the stoppage in transit journey comes to an end. So we are taking a break here. All right. So you have gone through the right to lien. We have seen all the examples also. Now we are going to understand in detail about the duration of transit. When can we say that the transit comes to an end? Children, this is a very, very important topic because in order to understand when to exercise the right to stoppage in transit, it becomes important to understand when the goods are in transit. Okay, let me just see if there are any doubts. All the students on the portal also, I hope you are understanding and paying attention, children, no doubts. Right? Yes, what is Riddhi saying? So first case is when the buyer has already taken the lawful delivery of the, then you cannot exercise the lien. Another is buyer takes the delivery before the goods have arrived at the destination, which we just did the point before the break, that if you come in between and take the goods, now you cannot exercise stoppage in transit. When the courier or other bailee acknowledges to the buyer that he is holding the goods, as soon as the goods are loaded on the ship, unless the seller has reserved the right to dispose. अब यहाँ पे मैम इन्होंने तो चैप्टर नंबर 1 एंड चैप्टर नंबर 3 दोनों की बात कह डाली. They have spoken about chapter number 1, constructive delivery. I'm calling the buyer, I'm acknowledging him. Look, your goods are loaded on the ship and I'm holding them on your behalf. And the seller has not reserved his right to dispose. Unless the seller has reserved means section 25 applicable नहीं है. फिर कौन सा section applicable है? मैंने आपको वैसे sections बोले थे, ठीक है, learn नहीं करने, but ये दो topics मैंने आपको section से ही पढ़ाए थे ताकि आपको याद रहे. Section 23 subsection 2 is unconditional appropriation. Section 25 is conditional appropriation. So कहते हैं section. तो फिर यहाँ पे section 23 subsection 2 में unconditional appropriation है, means seller ने अपना right reserve नहीं करा है and carrier ने बेली ने acknowledge कर दिया है buyer को. That means now my transit has come. Here first three cases. If the carrier wrongfully delivers the goods to the buyer, उसने गलती से गलत delivery दे दी है goods की buyer. When the goods are given to the carrier hired by the buyer, the transit comes to an end. Means जो ship में goods आने थे, that has been sent by the buyer himself. He is sending you the ship. Then also the transit comes to an end. What is the fifth case? Means I am the seller and I have loaded the goods on the ship which has been sent by the buyer or the truck which has been sent by. मतलब जो ये ट्रांसपोर्टर है ये बायर का ही, तो फिर तो बात खत्म. बायर को दे दिया या बायर के एजेंट को दे दिया, बायर के घर से कोई ना कोई तो ले गया ना goods. So now the transit has come to an end. अगर wrongfully deliver कर दिए बायर को फिर भी खत्म. When the part delivery has been made, transit will come to an end for the remaining goods which are in the course of transmission. So I told you right to lien अगर आपके पास है तो आप exercise कर सकते हो, but अगर वो remaining goods रास्ते में है फिर आप stoppage in transit नहीं कर सकते. Part delivery हो गई means whole delivery. And if the ship is chartered by the buyer means buyer की ही ship है जिस पे goods जा रहे हैं, तो transit comes to an end. Is that clear, all these points? So if the wrongfully delivers means he has already given the goods to the buyer, courier or the carrier, the transporter is not giving it, refuses to deliver. So there is a carrier, the Amazon guy has come and he's trying to tell the buyer that he has reached the destination, but he says that you have to give me some bribe. He's trying to bribe the buyer. Wrongfully refuse करा means buyer को goods दे नहीं रहा है. वो ट्रांजिट कहता है खत्म हो जाएगी, चाहे आपका कोई झगड़ा चल रहा है ट्रांसपोर्टर के साथ बायर का, वो अलग स्टोरी है. इसमें ड्यूरेशन इन ट्रांजिट हैज कम टू एन एंड. And how he will take the goods? Unpaid seller will exercise his right either by taking actual possession of goods. या तो वो रास्ते में जाएगा, बोलेगा ट्रक रोक दो, प्लीज रोको ट्रक, ये गुड्स मेरे हैं, आप मुझे वापस कर दो, एक्चुअल पोजेशन ले लेगा. या फिर नोटिस देगा. नोटिस मीन्स कॉल करेगा करियर को, ट्रांसपोर्टर को कि प्लीज गेट बैक द गुड्स. Such notice may be given either by person in actual possession or shall be given at the time where the principal by the exercise reasonable diligence. मतलब सिंपल है, कम्युनिकेट कर दो, उसको बता दो कि आप डिलीवरी बायर को नहीं दे. ये लाइन याद रखिए. टू प्रिवेंट अ डिलीवरी टू बायर मीन्स उसको कम्युनिकेट कर दो कि आप बायर को डिलीवरी मत दे. With the notice of transit is given by the seller to the courier who is in possession, he will re-deliver the goods. और ये re-delivery वाले expenditures सेलर बेयर करेगा. ये बस ये दो लाइनें जो यहाँ लिखी है ना, इसको याद कर लो. एक्चुअल पोजीशन ले लेना या फिर नोटिस दे देना, एंड री डिलीवरी की एक्सपेंडिचर विल बेयर सेलर विल. इज दिस क्लियर? सेक्शन 50, 51 and 52. Is it clear to all of you? Any doubts still here? No doubts? Now we are going to do right to resale. But let me show you one question. What are the rights of unpaid seller against the goods as per the Sale of Goods Act? So such kind of questions come for 6 marks in the exam. So how will you write it? How will you define it? If such kind of question comes, it is a 6 marks question. You will have to write 2 lines. Who is an unpaid seller? What are the rights against the goods? Number 1, when the property has been passed, right to lien, stoppage in transit, right to resale. You will explain them a little bit. When the property has not been passed, right to lien, stoppage in transit, resale, and right to withhold delivery. Right to withhold delivery, children, is also known as quasi lien. Quasi lien means that is, you can still exercise a lien between. What is the difference between lien and transit? Sri Krishna पूछ रहे. Lien का मतलब होता है हिंदी में अपने कब्जे में ले लेना गुड्स. ट्रांसिट का मतलब होता है गुड्स अभी रास्ते में. लियन में तब लूंगी जब गुड्स मेरे पास है, पोजीशन इज विद मी, आई विल टेक देम. ट्रांसिट मींस दे आर ऑलरेडी ट्रैवलिंग, आई विल गो एंड टेक देम, रीगेन द पोजीशन. ओके. In online shopping, the goods are shipped. Yes, Padla Parthi. Then the transit comes to an end when the delivery has been made. Let me see if any more doubts, children. It takes a lot of time, so please give me some time to go in your chat box. Everything is going smoothly, but okay. That's nice. So once you have come to know that the goods are not over there, then that means you have come to know that you have now become unpaid and the buyer has become insolvent. Then it becomes very, very important to take the goods back in your custody. जिस कंपनी का liability ज्यादा हो और एसेट नहीं है, श्रीनी चौहान, that was for insolvency. That's correct. मैम रेसिप्रोकल का मतलब, रेसिप्रोकेट करना मीन्स in exchange for that. Okay, are you asking in the context of Indian Contract Act, Sandeep Sahu? Where have you not understood this word reciprocal? Because in today's class we have not used this word. Okay, Chaitanya, Priya. Okay, Shivansh. We will update you through for that 5:15 classes on the mobile app. Ma'am will come and she will let you know about that. Okay. What is the difference between withholding delivery and lien? Okay, Kavya Agarwal has sent a very interesting question. Who will try to explain this answer? Withholding delivery. Withholding delivery means आपने मना कर दिया goods deliver करने से. Kavya Agarwal, here the agreement to sell, the delivery of goods was yet to be made. And lien is the right which I'm exercising. I've already made the sale, or even it is a similar right, but it is an additional right. Lien I'm exercising when I was supposed to give you the goods. I've come to know that now you have, I've become unpaid, you're not making my payment, then I've paid the possession. So I'll show you where this withholding delivery, because many a time students have this doubt, they don't even find where it is written. So here is a small line which is written: when the property in the goods has not been passed to the buyer, in addition to the above remedies, he has this right of withholding delivery. So this right is similar to lien. That is why it is known as quasi lien. It is additional right only for the agreement to sell it is used. Now, why it is the word withholding delivery? वो कहता है कि जब हमने आपको goods deliver करे, तब तो हमने आपको, जब हमने sell कर दिया, तब तो lien exercise कर रहे हैं ना. बट अभी डिलीवर करने ही है, एग्रीमेंट टू सेल में एक एडिशनल राइट मिल जाता है कि हम डिलीवरी को विदहोल्ड करने, डिलीवरी ऑफ गुड्स को रुकवा देंगे. तो दिस इज सिमिलर टू लियन. बात वही है, सिर्फ एक एडिशनल राइट है एग्रीमेंट टू सेल. क्लियर बच्चा? काव्या अग्रवाल, योर पॉइंट इज क्लियर? ओके, शी सेज क्लियर, दैट्स ग्रेट. परी, आपको क्या नहीं समझ आया? हाँ जी बेटा, नो अमेंडमेंट परी, सिलेबस इज सेम. Padula Parthi, what of the goods? There you have already sent the goods. Half of the goods are still in transit. Then it says your right to stoppage in transit comes to an end. Okay, then you cannot exercise, because once half delivery has been given, other half are already in your possession, then you can exercise the right to lien. But if they're in transit, then you cannot. In termination of lien, Sandeep asking, is the exception seller have goods or buyer have goods? Lien's exception, beta, when the buyer take the good, when the buyer has taken the goods, then you cannot exercise the lien. No, Pari, it has not changed. Same syllabus. Okay, Sidhu K, Bindya, all of you, I've read your points. That's correct. Okay, Rini says, ma'am, this chapter is little tough. It's not tough, Rini, but it has so much of information. That's why I'm going very slow, so that you understand each and every line, and we are trying to cover all the points very briefly. Okay. Now, shall we start with resale? I cannot see any doubts. Example 5, ma'am, what will happen if C refuse to stop the goods in transit? And then it's not possible. See, stoppage in transit, Devyani is applying. Then you will have to listen to the seller. So if you're buyer's agent, then anyways the transit has come to an end. Okay? Yes, Pooja, yeah.
Hello.
Okay. Molly Gupta has written, ma'am, when part delivery takes place, buyer becomes insolvent after the part delivery, and if the seller has already commenced the transit of the remaining goods, can you? So once you have sent the remaining goods, they are also in transit, Molly, then you cannot exercise the right to stoppage in transit if the part delivery of goods have been made. Yes, Tanisha, in both the cases, whether cash is not paid or the bill is dishonored. Can you please explain third point, how the transit comes to an end? Okay, let us take the third point. Janvi is asking for the third point. Let me explain that point. So it says, where the courier or the bailee acknowledges to the buyer. So let's take an example. So here I am a seller, Mr. A, and I have given the goods to the transporter, Mr. C, and B is the buyer. So C calls up B and tell him that I am holding the goods on your behalf. The goods are already in the ship which is sailing in the sea, and he has informed him. Now, if the seller has not reserved the right to disposal, remember that chapter, delivery of the goods to courier. Here, the courier is acting as the buyer's agent. ये एज्यूम कर लिया जाता है कि जब ट्रांसपोर्टर को दे दिए, यहाँ पे जो ट्रांसपोर्टर है वो बायर का एजेंट है, और एक बार बेटा जब बायर के एजेंट के पास गुड्स चले गए तो आप अपना एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर सकते. ऑलराइट मिस जानवी, हियर. I hope Pooja Yadav, your point is also clear. You also had a doubt in this. Now let me see if we can do one or two questions. Okay, now I'm going to give you a question. I give you 2 minutes. Everybody is going to write the answer to this question. Read the question and write the answer in the chat box. I'm checking on the portal also. Everyone has to write the answer. Fictions are not compulsory, even though the courier is hired by the seller but acknowledges. Yes, Janvi, then also it will come to an end. That's correct. Because he's acknowledging now, he's already telling him that now I'm holding the goods, means एक मान लिया जाएगा भी delivery हो गई. Arshia, Sakshi, Tanu, Pratham Pandey. Yes, I can see your messages now. No, it is not important, Pratham Pandey, to write the sections, and book language is important as far as provision is concerned. Yes, you can write in your own language also. Tanugiri, Shamreen, all of you are correct. Sakshi, you can give the answer for this one. Arshia, everybody. Pooja has already given. राइट तब खत्म हो जाता है जब गुड्स बायर. यस यस बिल्कुल, पार्ट डिलीवरी में भी खत्म हो जाएगा पूजा यादव, वंस द बायर हैज टेकन द पार्ट ऑफ द गुड्स. Tanisha says yes, he can exercise the right to learn, but he loses the right when the goods are in transit. Excellent, Tanisha. Good answers, all of you. Aditya, very nice. Arjun, you want to ask something? Yes, Arjun.
Yes, ma'am. Can I see the answer?
Okay, no, wait. Let me just see
I have written in the chat box.
Okay, tell me. So now.
Okay. So it says exercise of right of lien of the unpaid seller on the basis of the three circumstances, that are where the goods have been sold on the cash basis only, and then also on the credit basis, and the buyer, and where the buyer have become insolvent. These are the three circumstances.
Very nice. Good, Arjun, and I like your enthusiasm to answer it. Very nice. Good.
Okay.
ट्रांजिट करने के बाद भी कैंसिल हो सकता है, मींस फॉर सेलर. सो तनीषा इज आस्किंग, यस तनीषा, इफ यू हैव एंटेड द ट्रांजिट then you cannot exercise. Once the transit is over, means रास्ते में खत्म हो गए हैं, buyer के पास चले गए, now you cannot take the goods in your possession. Okay. All right. So unpaid seller who has the possession, definitely yes, he can exercise the right to lien, and all of you have given the correct answer. Even Arjun has spoken the correct answer. Now all the beauty comes in line in writing the answer. What you all have answered, if it would have been a 3 marks question, that's correct. But if it would have been 6 marks question, then I request you, section 47 nahi yaad rehta to koi baat nahi. As per the provisions of Sale of Goods Act, likhte na, seller has the right to retain the possession until the payment is made. Therefore, if the goods are sold on cash or credit and the buyer has become insolvent, any of these cases, he can exercise his right to lien. Unpaid seller has made part delivery. He can exercise lien on the remainder unless it has been shown as the agreement to waive the. When does the lien comes to an end? When we deliver the goods to the courier, when buyer takes it, or by waiver, or he loses only when, but the right of unpaid seller will not get affected by the decree for the price. भाई वेवर का मतलब क्या होता है? वेवर का मतलब होता है कि मैंने गिव अप कर दिया, मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, अगर आपने कल को मेरी पेमेंट नहीं भी करी तो मैं गुड्स के ऊपर कब्जा नहीं करूंगी. आई हैव टोल्ड हिम इन हिंदी पर ही मैं आपको बता रही हूँ. अब वेवर का मतलब पूछ रहे थे आप. वेवर मतलब कि अब मैंने गिव अप कर दिया, मैंने कहा ठीक है आप मेरे गुड्स ले जाओ, मैंने ये बॉटल्स एंड फोन्स आपको भेज दिया, मैंने कहा ठीक है एग्रीमेंट कर लिया, अगर नहीं भी पेमेंट करा तो मैं कोई और राइट यूज कर लूंगी. अब इंटरेस्टिंग बात, ma'am, goods are in custody. I am exercising my right to lien. I have come to know that the buyer is insolvent or not making my payment. Stoppage in transit, I'm stopping the goods and taking it back in my custody. But if I don't have the goods and he has delivered the goods, the transporter has given the goods to the buyer, then what will I do? Then I will go and use the rights against the buyer. हमने पढ़ा था राइट्स अगेंस्ट द गुड्स होते हैं दो कैटेगरी एंड राइट्स अगेंस्ट द बायर. मैं आपको कंफ्यूज नहीं करना चाहती हूँ, इसलिए राइट्स अगेंस्ट द बायर हम अगली वाली क्लास में समझे. आज हम सारे राइट्स अगेंस्ट द गुड्स खत्म करेंगे एंड उससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस. सो लेट्स मूव टुवर्ड थर्ड राइट्स अगेंस्ट द गुड्स एंड देन वी विल कम बैक टू द केस स्टडीज डिस्कशन. दैट इज द राइट अगेंस्ट द गुड्स ऑफ रीसेल. Now, there is a small paragraph which I have left in between section 53, which is different. I will explain you after doing the right of resale. Okay? Because this is in itself another topic. Section 53 अभी हम नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम पहले right to resale easy वाला करते हैं. Section 54 right to resale. Again, resale का मतलब होता है दोबारा किसी और को सामान बेच देना. I can use this valuable right only if I have the goods, my dear students. वो कहते हैं यहाँ तो लियन एक्सरसाइज कर लो, कब्जे में रख लो, बट जहां पे मुझे लग रहा है गुड्स पेरिशेबल है, खराब हो जाएंगे, तो सपोज यू हैव सोल्ड 50 kgs of tomatoes. You're a seller. You have come to know buyer will not make the payment. Then I have shown you the drawers in which you will keep the goods. You will exercise right to lien. But is there any purpose of keeping these tomatoes in the drawer? They'll get rotten, they'll get spoiled. So let's use a right under section 54, right of reselling. Okay, then you will prefer to resell the goods. किसी और को बेच दे. So unpaid seller have other rights also, right to lien and stoppage, would not be of much use because these rights only give them the right to retain until paid by the buyer. So this valuable right is given. अगर सिर्फ संभाल रहे हो और कोई नुकसान मतलब नुकसान ही हो गया, फायदा तो हो नहीं रहा, तो लॉ ने 54 सेक्शन में आपको बेचने का भी हक दिया. अब उसके दो केसेस हैं. वेरी केयरफुली लिसन ईच एंड एवरी लाइन. ओके, अगर तो आपकी कमोडिटीज पेरिशेबल है. पेरिशेबल का मतलब खाने पीने वाली चीजें, केक, बिस्किट्स, चॉकलेट्स, फ्रूट्स, वेजिटेबल्स, then no need to give any notice to the buyer, quietly resell the goods. Means A, the seller has made 10 cakes for the buyer. B, buyer said that I will not make you the payment. The payment for these 10 cakes was 10,000. Buyer refused to make the payment or buyer paid 6,000. Can I say A become unpaid? If buyer has paid 6,000 Can we say A has become unpaid? Yes, ma'am, or no? Yes, ma'am. Sarla says yes, everybody else also. So now since I've become unpaid, what will I do? I will take the cakes in my custody. For how long I can retain it? There is no purpose of retaining, right? I should use my right under section 54. I will resell the goods. Now, it is a perishable commodity. Do I need to inform the buyer? Do I need to call him and tell him, look, I am selling the cakes? क्या मुझे उसे नोटिस देने की जरूरत है? ये बंद करती हूँ स्क्रीन शेयर so that I can see your yes and no. What do you think, children? Do I need to give the notice to the buyer? No, ma'am. Prabhat, Prince, Kausar, Ravi, everybody says no. Thankfully, I can see your names. Molly, Tanisha. It is such a big, different thing. No notice is required, ma'am. Devyani, Sri Krishna, excellent. So that's great. But because of the Zoom function in chat box, I have to click on each one of you and then I cannot read your names. Yes, Pujaya. Good. Everybody has given the correct answer. That means you're paying full attention. But if it is not a perishable commodity, then वो कहते भी एक बार ही notice तो दे दो, inform तो कर दो buyer को कि आप resell कर रहे हो goods. If the goods are of perishable commodity, no need to give the notice. But if the goods are not perishable commodity, means, for example, you have made 100 tables for the buyer and now he is not paid. So you will give him a notice that, look, since now this is the seller A, he has made these tables for the buyer B. Buyer refused to take the delivery or he has not paid, therefore he has become unpaid seller. Now he want to use this right, which is given under section 54, right to resell. He will have to give the notice to the buyer that if you fail to repay within the reasonable time, then I might sell it. वो एक नंबर 1 एक नोटिस भेजेगा उसको कि अगर आप मुझे 10 दिन और मैं आपको दे रहा हूं, अगर आप इसमें मुझे पेमेंट नहीं करते तो मैं ये वाले गुड्स किसी और को बेच दूं. पॉइंट नंबर 2, अब अगर वो पेमेंट नहीं करता, 10 डेज का टाइम दिया था सेलर ने, अगर वो पेमेंट नहीं करता तो क्या सेलर रीसेल कर सकता है? बिल्कुल कर सकता है. सपोज ये टेबल्स थे 1000 रुपीज के एंड जब सेलर ने रीसेल करा तो उसने सेल करा 1100 रुपीज. 100 रुपीज का और प्रॉफिट हुआ उसे. ही विल रिटेन दिस प्रॉफिट because the resale price is higher than the contract price. And if there is any loss, means he had to resell at 900. Now there is a loss of 100 rupees. Contract price कितने का था? 1000 का. Resale price है 900 का. This loss of 100 rupees he will recover from original buyer Mr. B as damages. What did I say? चलो लिख कर करते हैं इसको लर्न. Resale of goods is the third right that the seller has. First, if it is perishable goods, children, then we will no need to give the notice and resell the goods. Clear है? कोई notice नहीं देना, resell करो. In other cases में क्या होगा? First case, give the notice to buyer, मतलब टाइम दे दो उसको, अब इतने टाइम में पे करना. If still no payment, then profit है. If profit, retain it. If loss, if profit, retain it. If loss, recover it from original buyer. Original buyer means जिसको पहले बेचा था, जिसको नोटिस भेजा हमने. Please write this down. Everybody is clear? यहां तक सबको समझ आ गया? Third right against the goods is the right to resale of goods. उसका फर्स्ट पॉइंट है अगर गुड्स पेरिशेबल है. श्री कृष्णा पहले समझाने दो, फिर मैं डाउट्स लूंगी आप. एंड अगर पेरिशेबल नहीं है इन अदर केसेस, नोटिस दे दो बायर को टाइम पीरियड का. अगर नहीं पेमेंट होती है, प्रॉफिट है तो रिटेन कर लेना, लॉस है तो रिकवर कर लेना. एंड सेकेंड का ही बच्चा सेकेंड पॉइंट समझाना है मुझे आपको. इफ नो नोटिस इज गिवन, if no notice is given to buyer, then what happens? Let's read it out first. It may be noted that the seller can recover the damages and retain the profits only when the goods are sold after giving the notice. If the goods are sold without giving the notice, seller loss hai, तो cannot recover the loss. And अगर profit है, return it to the original buyer. मतलब कितनी फनी बात है. वो कह रहे हैं अब अगर आपने 1100 के गुड्स बेचे, 1000 रुपए में बी ने खरीदने थे, वो 100 रुपए आप बायर को देकर आओ. एक तो आप अनपेड सेलर बने, उसकी वजह से आपको रीसेल करने पड़ रहे. बट सेक्शन 54 ने, लॉ ने क्या लिख दिया? नोटिस देना था. अगर नोटिस नहीं दिया, मुझे मौका तो दो. मैं बायर हूं, आपको अनपेड सेलर बनाया, मुझे मौका तो दो पेमेंट करने का. आपने मुझे मौका ही नहीं दिया और जाकर गुड्स हायर प्रॉफिट पे बेचा है, तो उस प्रॉफिट पे अब बायर का हक बन जाता. समझ आया? ये नोट डाउन करो पहले जो मैंने आपको पॉइंट्स दिए, फिर दोबारा समझाओ. Everybody will note these. Miss Sakshi, Tanu, all your answers are correct. Pratham, all those students in the portal, yes, your answers are coming. Students, you can also write on the portal because it's a little more easily visible. Okay, Sarla Devi. Everybody, any doubts still here? Ravi Kumar says no, ma'am. Everybody says no doubt. Now let's move ahead. So if I am a seller and I have become unpaid seller and I am planning to resell the goods, do I need to give the notice to the buyer if it is a perishable commodity? Yes or no? No. Bilkul sahi. Second question. If it is non-perishable commodity and I did not give the notice to the buyer, can I recover the loss from the buyer? सबने सही जवाब दिया. No, no, no. No is the correct answer. Very good. तीसरा. If I have given the notice to the buyer and he fails to repay the money, can I retain the profits that I have earned? Excellent. सबने yes लिख दिया. And एक last question. अगर मैंने notice दिया है, if I have given the notice and I have not received the money and I have suffered a loss, what can I do? हाँ रिनी, रिटेन तो वो हो गया ना, रिनी चौहान पुराना. रिकवर इट फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल बायर. एक्सीलेंट. Very good, students. I'm so proud of you. All of you have answered it correctly. Well done. So section 54 we have done. So this points, we have made it in short points. Where the unpaid seller who has exercised his right to lien and stoppage in transit resells the goods. Subsequent buyer means अब A था, जो ओरिजिनल सेलर था, जो अनपेड हो गया, बी बायर था, अब ए ने रीसेल करा सी को, हु बिकम्स द ओनर? सब्सिक्वेंट बायर विल बिकम द ओनर डिस्पाइट द नोटिस ऑफ रीसेल हैज नॉट बीन गिवन. चाहे वो नोटिस ऑफ रीसेल दिया या नहीं दिया, सी ओनर बन जाए. ओके. A resale by the seller where the right to resale is reserved in the contract. Sometimes buyer and seller have expressly decided that if the buyer makes a default, I will resell it to some other person. Here the seller has reserved his right. So फिर उसे नोटिस देने की जरूरत है, फिर तो उसने क्लियरली बोल दिया कि मैं तो रीसेल कर. Here he does not need to give the notice, but still he can recover the damages. Is it clear? Now let's do one type of rights against the buyer. We can do, yes, we can do one types of rights against the buyer. So right of unpaid seller against the buyer personally. Out of this, we'll try to do at least section 55. If the unpaid seller has used all his rights against the goods, he still has the rights against the buyer person. Means अब मैं पहले तो मैं goods के हक में right use कर रही थी, right to clear, stoppage and transit, withholding, delivery, right to sell. Now I want to use my rights against the buyer. This is also known as seller's remedies for the breach of contract. पहले तो मुझे आप ये बता दो breach of contract कैसे हो. एक है seller, एक है buyer. Seller ने देने हैं goods, buyer ने देनी है payment. If seller does not give the goods, he has breached the contract. Buyer has the rights against him, which are given after this. If this buyer does not make the payment, buyer has breached the contract. Seller has rights against him. So this is what we are now going to understand. In case of a breach of contract, what are the rights available with the seller against the buyer? These rights are in addition to the rights against him. Okay. So first of all, he can file a suit for price, where under the contract of sale, the property has been passed and buyer wrongfully refuses to pay for the goods. Seller can sue him for the price of the goods. तो पहला तो केस है property has been passed. बच्चा किसका केस हो गया? Sale का. Where the property has not been passed, किसका केस हो गया? ये agreement to sell. अगर तो सेल हो गई है, ए ने गुड सेल करे बी को फॉर 5,000 रुपीज. बायर सेड आई विल नॉट पे यू 5,000. तो सेलर उसके खिलाफ केस कर सकता है. ही कैन sue him for the price of goods. This is the case of contract of sale. If it is the case of agreement to sell and the price was to be paid on a certain date, buyer refuses to pay the price, he can still sue him and the goods have not been appropriated. The seller can file a case for the price, although the property has not been passed and the goods have not been appropriated. Now you will ask me, ma'am, why are you filing a case in case of agreement to sell? Let's understand with the help of a very interesting example. I have this blue water bottle. You come to my shop and you said, ma'am, we want this Probot blue bottle having a gray lid, and this is specific goods, and I sell it. But you said we want the same water bottle, but we want it in red color. I said, okay, fine. I will make an agreement to sale contract with you. I will make 100 such red bottles for you. You come and take it after 10 days. Now, this is a case of agreement to sell. You refuse to pay me the price. Don't you think I, as a seller, have incurred so much of expenditure in making those 100 bottles ready for you? And now you're breaching the contract on the last date. You're doing wrong with me. So what will I do? I'll file a case against you for the price money. Fair enough? So even in the agreement to sell, you can file a case against the buyer. Now I want to do certain case studies with you. Sarla Devi wants to ask something. First, I will take your queries and then we will do 3 questions.
Ma'am, in a book, like they have printed as a suit for price. It should be sue. There is a printing error is there in study material.
He may sue him for the no, child. He's saying he may sue him for the.
They are
So he
written
can
as suit.
file.
Suit. Spelling is
That-
written as suit.
Yes, we can correct it, but then you simply try to say that he can sue you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
SUE is also filed. He's filing a case. He has filed a suit against. That is
Oh.
also.
Fine. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Yes, Tamanna, what are you asking? Waiver or estoppel में difference? Okay, Tamanna, raise your hand. I'll talk to you. Yes, Janvi.
Ma'am, can you please explain me the fourth point of conditions in the right of resale?
Fourth point.
Yes, ma'am.
Expressly reserved wala right?
Yes, that only.
Here, child, he's trying to tell you that I'm the seller A and you are the buyer B, and we have already decided that I will resell the goods. Expressly reserved means contract made written. So we have already written in the contract that I will be reselling the goods if you make any default in the payment. Now, if you default the payment, Janvi, do I need to give you a notice?
No.
So in such case, I'm not supposed to give you the notice. I will simply sell it and I will recover the damages from it.
Okay, understood, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? Yes, Tamanna, raise your hand. You wanted to ask something. Children, preferably raise your hands and ask. Yes.
हेलो मैम।
Yes, Tamanna.
मैम जो ये टर्मिनेशन ऑफ लीन में दे रखा है हमें थर्ड और फोर्थ पॉइंट,
हाँ जी.
इसके अंदर एक तो जैसे वेवर दे रखा है, एस्टोपल दे रखा है, तो इसके अंदर ये डिफरेंस समझ नहीं आया।
ओके,
तो एक जैसे पॉइंट लग रहे हैं बिल्कुल ही।
हाँ, ये बिल्कुल एक जैसे ही है. ओके, मैं आपको समझाती हूँ. एक है when the seller has waived his right of lien. मैंने कहा मैं गिव अप कर. आप मेरे कस्टमर हो, आप मेरी शॉप पे आए, मैंने कहा ठीक है भाई, अगर तूने कल को पेमेंट ना भी करी ना तो मैं लियन वेव ऑफ करता हूँ, मतलब मैं कब्जा नहीं करूंगा. क्लियर हो गया? Where the seller conducts himself that he leads the third parties to believe that the lien does not exist. Now, this is a point which is somehow related to section 53, which we have still not covered. See, for example, I sell my goods to Tamanna, and Tamanna tells me that I will sell it further to Riddhi and then I will make you the payment. So I am giving you acceptance. I'm giving you the right to sell my goods further and recover the payment. So here, by my conduct, I am allowing the third party that lien is not there. You can take the goods. When we do section 53, Tamanna, then you will understand it in more detail. Okay?
Okay.
All right, beta. Yes, Pooja, yeah.
मैम रीसेल का फिफ्थ पॉइंट.
रीसेल का फिफ्थ पॉइंट? वो तो रीसेल का पॉइंट ही नहीं है. किसका पॉइंट है वो? किसका पॉइंट है वो? तो एग्रीमेंट टू सेल का पॉइंट. When the property in goods has not been passed, so you should correct it. This is a point of agreement to sell. Please write it down in the study material over here. This is the additional right for the agreement to sell. Agreement to sell के क्या क्या rights हैं पूजा? Right to lien, right to stoppage in transit, right to resale, and the fourth one is quasi lien. That is right to withhold delivery of goods. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, Sandeep.
Yes, ma'am. I'm audible.
Yes.
मैम ये टर्मिनेशन ऑफ लीन था, उसका जो एक्सेप्शन था, वो मैम उस केस में मैम एक्सेप्शन के केस में मतलब गुड्स कहाँ रहते हैं? मतलब सेलर के पास रहते हैं उस टाइम में या बायर के पास?
वो डिक्री ऑफ द गुड्स वाला प्राइस?
यस मैम.
कौन सा वाला कह रहे हो बेटा?
ये एक्सेप्शन.
यहाँ पे he is saying even if the seller has taken a price from the court case, he can still exercise a lien on the goods. In any of the case, if you want to exercise lien, ना संदीप, seller के पास ही goods होनी चाहिए. अगर seller के पास goods है ही नहीं तो lien exercise ही नहीं.
वही मैम हम भी मतलब सोच रहे थे.
तो ठीक सोच रहे थे
Okay,
आप, के पास होनी चाहिए, ठीक है।
thank you.
ओके बेटा। हाँ जी श्री कृष्णा, फाइनली यू गेट अ चांस टू स्पीक। यस मिस्टर
Hello.
श्री। हाँ जी बेटा।
Ma'am, in case we given notice and no payment is made, then if loss incurs, then recover from original buyer, right?
Yes. If no
Then
notice is
what if
given, then you cannot. If no notice is given, then you cannot recover. Notice has to be
ma'am,
given.
then if buyer become insolvent, then
We are using the right of resale. Then you will use the right of stoppage in transit. And if the buyer is insolvent, then you will use the rights against the buyer. That is, you will file a case against him.
मैम अगर वो इंसॉल्वेंट हो जाता है तो फिर भी हमें प्रॉफिट देना पड़ेगा उसे बायर को।
प्रॉफिट तो आप दे रहे हो, आपको दिक्कत आएगी लॉस रिकवर करने में, है ना?
यस।
प्रॉफिट तो आप दे दोगे, उसमें दिक्कत नहीं आएगी। आपका ये क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए कि लॉस कैसे रिकवर करेगा। तो लॉस कैसे रिकवर, बायर कैसे पे करेगा, वो बायर की उस वक्त की हेडेक है। लॉ में आप क्या लिखे, सेक्शन 54 में आपको परमिशन है कि आप रिकवर कर लेना, क्योंकि आपने नोटिस दे। ओके,
यस थैंक यू।
ऑल राइट, क्लियर? So all the doubts have been taken up. Now it's the time to study some question answers. It's your time to test your knowledge now. Let's read this case study 4 and I'm going to give you 2 minutes to represent your answers very beautifully. Write it in the way that the study material demands you. All of you, I give you 2 minutes. Please write the answer. Meanwhile, I'm just checking your chat box if there are still any queries. Good answer for the previous one, Arjun. Okay, Preeti. Devyani, Jayavant, all of you have given the correct answer for the previous one. Now write the answers for this one. Everyone is supposed to write the answers for this one. And even on the portal, Suhasini, right to resale का second point समझाना। बेटा क्या नहीं समझ आया second point में, Suhasini? Vishali Sharma, Sakshi, all your answers are correct. Suhasini, he simply tries to tell you in the second point that if it is not a perishable property, then you should give the notice. ये नोटिस देना मतलब उसे इन्फॉर्म कीजिए कि हम आपके गुड्स अब रीसेल कर। अगर आपने ये नोटिस दिया हुआ है एंड रीसेल करते हो तो आप लॉस रिकवर कर सकते हो एंड प्रॉफिट रिटेन कर सकते हो। ऑलराइट, very good. Devyani has written, as per the provisions of the act, the seller becomes unpaid, buyer becomes insolvent, and the seller can exercise his right to lien. Okay, that's nice provision. You have to write the conclusion and facts also. Hiran Kapta, good answer. Tamanna, okay, Tamanna. I hope Tamanna, your query is clear. You're still writing the query. As per SOGA, संदीप साहू, आप पेपर में ऐसे नहीं लिख कर आओगे as per SOGA, abbreviations नहीं यूज करते। Chaitanya, good answer. Unpaid seller who has the position. That's great. Shivansh. Shivansh has also given all the points. All right. Following are the points in which seller loses his right to deal. Very nice. Shivansh Shaw. Good points given, beta. Pari. Pari, I hope you have understood. Pari, आपको समझ आ गया? हिंदी में भी बता दिया आज सारे points, हाँ? चैतन्य सिंह मैम अपनी सीए जर्नी बताओ बेटा, फिर कभी बताएंगे फुर्सत में, अभी पहले आपका सिलेबस कंप्लीट हो जाए. एक्सप्लेन द पॉइंट ऑफ काव्य अग्रवाल. गुड आंसर. Okay, all of you almost have given. Okay, Pari says yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Well done, beta. I'm glad you've understood. Now, let me quickly show you the answer. A agrees to sell the goods on certain date. On 10 days, credit period has been given and it has expired. Please note down the goods are still in possession of A. अगर ये लाइन ना लिखी हो, फिर आंसर कुछ और हो. वो मैं आपसे भी पूछूंगी. B has not paid the price. He become insolvent. He refuses to deliver the goods. Can he exercise the right to lien? चुपचाप सारे पॉइंट्स लिख देना. सेक्शन 47 के राइट टू लियन इन 3 केसेस में होता है. अनपेड सेलर की डेफिनेशन क्या होती है? Facts of the case. A has agreed to sell the goods. Period has expired. Means goods are still physically in the possession. Now, children, one thing I wanted to tell you. Don't waste too much time in the exam in writing big stories for the facts of the case. Use it for the bit analysis of the case. तो हम analysis and conclusion जब करते हैं उसमें थोड़ा सा facts words use करते हैं. So he has become insolvent, therefore he can exercise his right to lien because the payment has not been made by the buyer. Now in the same case study 4, if it was not written that the goods are in possession of A, if he specifically says that the goods have been taken up by A, then what rights we can use? Then what rights we can use? Can we still use the rights against the goods? Yes or no? Let me see how much concept you have understood. Transit use करेंगे, okay, Shri Krishna. But मैंने कहा buyer ले गया. Jayavant भी बोल रहा है. Tanisha says, then what rights we can use? Okay, Arjun, Tamanna, everybody knows the correct answer. Molly correct. Very good, Molly Gupta. Excellent. Sandeep, Padula Parthi, very good. We can use rights against the buyer. जिसको ये समझ आ गया ना, मतलब उसको well done. I'm so happy that you have answered this line correctly. That means your conceptual clarity is now 100%. You want to do one more case study? Let's do. Please solve this question. Shankar sold the goods to Ganesh on credit. Wheat was to be delivered after 10 days. A friend, Shankar, secretly informed him that Ganesh has defaulted payment. One of the information of friend applied the right to lien and withheld the delivery. Here he is not giving, he is giving you a period of credit, but the wheat was to be delivered. This is the case of agreement to sell and he is withholding the delivery. Quasi lien he is using. Can Shankar was right of his decision if Ganesh becomes insolvent within 5 days of the contract, then what could have been done? So let's see the answer here. It is important to give the definition of unpaid seller as we have been giving. Both the points will be covered. Unpaid seller can use his right to lien if he has the position and he can refuse to deliver. So he has this right can be used by him in the following cases. All those cases are given. Now this is your analysis. Ganesh has purchased and 10 days time period has been given and he has made the delivery. On the basis of above revisions, unpaid seller credit period has expired. Therefore, Mr. Shankar had to perform his promise of supplying 1000 kg. It says even when Mr. Ganesh was an unpaid seller until the term of credit, means credit period has still not expired, no? So then you will have to supply him. But if he has become insolvent, then he has the right to apply the lien and withhold the delivery. So children, in this question, he is trying to tell you both the points. Where the credit period has expired, then you can exercise your right to lien. But if still you have the credit period, he says you have given him the 10 days of credit. After 5 days, only somebody is informing you. No, you will have to wait for full 10 days. But if he has become insolvent, then yes, you have the right to use because insolvency is another right. Okay, good answer given by you, Janvi. I've read your answers. All of you have given wonderful answers. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session, understanding and learning about the lien and stoppage in transit. And you don't have any doubts. Right to resale also we have done today. And don't unmute yourself without my permission. So I hope none of you have. I hope none of you have any doubts now. Arjun and Molly have still raised their hands. Thank you, Shivansh. I'm glad that everything is clear to you and you have understood. That's great. Okay, thank you so much, Janvi. Yes, Molly Gupta.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I had a doubt, like in right of resale, isn't it implicit that the seller has already exercised his right of lien and the right of stoppage in transit?
Mm-hmm. Be loud,
So,
yes.
Yeah, sorry. And if it is so, then in the third point, why is it mentioning it alag se, like?
Which third point are you asking?
Right of resale में जो हमारे पास ये third point है where an unpaid
notice
seller.
वाला point हो गया ना आपका?
Yes, where it is saying that he has exercised his right of lien or stoppage in transit, he is not bound to give the notice to the original buyer.
So yes, you have to give the notice, right? That means you are selling the goods. Now goods are with me. I have taken a decision to resell the goods. Don't you feel that at least I should inform the buyer that तुमने मुझे धोखा दिया है, मेरी पेमेंट नहीं करी है, तो मैं goods बेच रहा हूँ. हो सकता है buyer ने default करा है, वो delay कर रहा है. He might have the chance to repay. So that's why he has given you this option of giving a notice. And what short notes I have given you? Read the study material along with those notes. And if you still have doubts, I'll clarify you on Sunday. Okay? Yes, Arjun, you want to ask anything?
Yes, ma'am. In case study 5, I didn't understand this. The facts of the case means that those two those 2 points I didn't understand. And can you please show the slide?
Okay, I'll show you. So he's trying to tell you, Arjun, that if the time period that has been given was for 10 days, within 5 days only somebody is telling me that he will not be making the payment. So I still have the time period of 10 days. It's a credit sale. It's an agreement to sell. So I have to perform my promise of supplying goods. But if within 5th day I have come to know that you have become insolvent, now this has superseded that credit sale point. Now I will not give you the goods. I will withhold the delivery because now I know that you will not be making that. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. But But here on in first point, first point and last point, I didn't understand that on the basis of the above provisions and facts, it can be said that even Mr. Ganesh was an unpaid seller until the term of credit that has been expired. And Mr. Shankar had to perform his promise of supplying 1000 kg of wheat. Man, how
तो
is
वो
it
कह रहे
so?
until the credit period, तो अभी 5 days की बात ही उसने बोल दिया ना कि मुझे किसी ने बताया. So until the period has expired means जब तक वो period आपका खत्म नहीं हो जाता है तब तक के लिए आपके पास time है to think and take a decision.
अच्छा, और लास्ट पॉइंट मतलब लास्ट पॉइंट क्या
Last
था?
point का मतलब ये है कि आपने उसको बता दिया कि अभी आपका इंसॉल्वेंट हो गया है, तो फिर तो आप दोगे नहीं ना. अगर आपको पता लग गया कि बायर इंसॉल्वेंट है तो आप उसे गुड्स दोगे ही नहीं. फिर आप
अच्छा,
थोड़ी ना
ठीक.
क्रेडिट पीरियड की वेट करो. ठीक है
हाँ
बेटा?
हाँ हाँ, ठीक है. थैंक यू मैम. थैंक यू.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sarla Devi. I'm glad that you felt connected. So that's good. And even I enjoyed teaching all of you. So God bless you all. And please revise whatever we have done in today's class. And see you all in the next class. And then we will complete this chapter. All right? All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We are done. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.